Batung, Dumelang. This is actually a response to a couple of DMs I've been getting with regards to my divorce after being married for 4.
Ache, because we know that the people who give the best advice on divorce are people who've never been through one. I'm listening, sister. Tell me.
After being married for 4 years. So I guess I can't pina because it's a direct message, obviously, as a comment. But in any case, let's get into it. So Ugel got married at 24. I pela waiting. You know this obsession that most girls have, especially church girls. Like you just get to a point where you're like, I want to get married. I want to have a husband. And this is
Sister, you are not alone. Married here at 25, divorced here at 27. Okay? So I'm here. You're not alone. I'm listening. Former church girl as well. Former divorcee, former church girl. I understand the obsession that they give us, right? Marriage is something they always preach about. They're always preparing you for that. Hey, submit to the husband. They talk about, hey, wait until marriage. And it gets a whole lot messier than that, hey? Coercion is a thing. And yet, technical virginity. Yeah, nah, it's one of those messy things. But we'll get into it. We'll get into the religious trauma. We'll get into the betrayal trauma. I can see it in you. I'm telling you something that nobody ever told me. I'm here for you.
Anyways, Ashi Abuti Kopanani, this guy. I think I was 20 when I met him. Yeah, because we dated for 3 years and then apatana lobol.
Okay, so if any international people are watching, she says that they dated for a couple of years and then he paid Lobola the bride price, which is paid in cows in order to secure a future for her. It's a traditional thing, but essentially, what it means is that it's not just about him proposing to her. This is about his family proposing to her family. That is how deep it runs. Again, it's not my culture, and obviously, if it is your culture, can you please explain more and clarify? It's only something I've heard about and grown up knowing about, but I've never been to any lobola stuff. But I just wanted to impress upon our international friends, this is deep. This is a deep traditional thing. We're talking about 3-day weddings here. The African version of the wedding and then the Western one. Because if people are having a cross-cultural African wedding, um, they will do the one culture, then they'll do the other culture, as I understand, and then they'll do the Western one. That's what I understand. I will stand corrected if needed. But it runs deep when someone plays the bola. It's a huge commitment. Sometimes it takes people years to pay it off because, yeah, it's essentially money that secures their future, as I understand it. Okay, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments.
I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say this guy changed after we got married or whatever. He didn't. If anything, this guy was very consistent. The same way he was cheating when we were dating is the same way he was cheating when we got married. I think actually it got worse. I could go on and on and on about what this guy did. I have stories for days. I could even write a book at this point.
And now, before you guys go and judge her and say she should have known and she should take responsibility, please acknowledge she has taken responsibility. She has had the courage to go through the valley of the shadow of divorce. She's done her due diligence. She's owning her stuff. Okay, the very fact that she went to a divorce court, that is owning your side of it. Okay, but I just want to speak about a societal thing. When we are younger and we go to our family, our friends, or whatever for advice, or not even for advice, sometimes you're just shocked at what's just happened, if someone's cheated or even done a micro cheating thing, right? And then you go to your friends, your girlfriend, you sometimes go to your mother, you sometimes go to your guy friends, whoever, your brother, whatever. And then people, when it's a man, tend to make these excuses like, oh, come on, he's young. Oh, when did he do it? Oh, 2 years ago. Ah, come on. It was so long ago. Or they ask you questions that have you questioning your perception. Are you sure that was cheating? Does that really count? And especially when you're Christian, it's like, what would Jesus do? Should he forgive? And so then you are framed as this person who is the immoral one for not being Christ-like enough and forgiving enough. And there's another layer of the onion when you are South African, because forgiveness is something we are known for as a nation because of what happened in our nation. Forgiveness is something that healed our nation, right? And so that is weaponized. There's forgiveness shaming. Forgiveness shaming is a big thing that happens in these situations, especially for Christians. There's a difference between forgiveness and accepting crap. I just want to let everybody out there know that there's a difference, okay? And forgiveness is not the same thing as allowing something to happen again. Do not let these lazy thinkers talk you into ruining your life, into ruining your wedding day, which you have been waiting for and planning for since you were, 5 years old watching Disney? Ne? It was reinforced by the church. You've been raised for this. Don't sell yourself short because of misplaced notions of morality. Contextualize things, nuance always.
Because you, Ubafo, deserves, I can tell me what type of award. He was good. Like, I was even diagnosed in that marriage. Again, I can tell me William Skolong Sabu Doctoring, I'm bipolar. At some point, I think I was. Because you should have seen how, like, I got wretched. Sometimes.
And there it is, a clear sign of mental abuse. People having you doubt your perceptions of yourself when what you're actually having, rather than a bipolar reaction, is a trauma response. Post-traumatic trauma disorder, PTSD, ne? PTSD, I forgot the S there somewhere. Post-traumatic stress disorder, yeah. But the person can't take accountability, or people can't take accountability for what they did. We live in this world that it's especially men. And guys, I know men get cheated on. My heart breaks for you too. I want you to understand. But we're talking about as an instance in which the female has been dishonored. So let's give her the honor that her own husband didn't give her. I don't believe in the notion anymore of men necessarily being your protector. I believe you're each other's protector. But as a church girl, you're raised to think of the husband as your head and your protector. Ne? But brother man cannot take accountability. Okay? And yeah, I know. Can't take accountability. So whatever happens, you must be the bad guy. It must be something wrong with you. And even if it means labeling you as not mentally stable, no accountability on his side, just pointing it out. And it's not just him. There's a whole mechanism that does this. Sister Honey, you are not alone. I see you and I feel you. You're not alone, baby girl.
Sometimes being in love, guys, will make you do crazy things. I became this wretched girl. I was fighting other women. My pull-up game was very strong. Like, what I used to do. So
Baby girl, being in love is not what made you do crazy things. That was not love. You deserved love. That was not love. Okay? However, being mentally abused, being betrayed, which gets you into survival mode, can reduce any one of us, the best of us, into behaving as the worst versions of ourselves. Okay? We behave as the worst version of ourselves. We act out of character. Given normal circumstances, we wouldn't act like that. Okay? But you did the best you could with the tools that you have in a world that tells women, sorry, I'm not even Tswana speaking. I only understand half of what you're saying, but a world that tells women that we are responsible for men's behavior. So they give us the responsibility. So we try to take the driver's seat. Okay, I will try and seduce. All right, hey, baby boy. When that doesn't work, I'll try to be more kind and understanding because it's my fault when he cheats, right? And when that doesn't work, okay, they tell you, you must never accept disrespect. So then you're like, okay, I will be his morality. You take that on you because I'm holding you accountable, but I'm also holding like compassion for you because society is also accountable for these narratives. You were very young, my love. You were very young. You don't need anybody more to blame you or to beat you up anymore, okay? Yeah. You acted out of character. If you can't forgive yourself, I forgive you. I'm holding that forgiveness for you because I understand. Did I mention how you're not alone? You're not alone.
I have tracker on my car. I have the app, and every now and then we'll change cars. Like he will drive mine, I'll drive his. So there would be days where I'm like, and you know what? When you're a woman, you just know. Like I don't even need proof. When I tell you that you are cheating, you are cheating. Even if I don't have proof, I like the instincts are gonna they are spot on.
Ooh, let me tell you, a woman who has been betrayed turns into the FBI, the CIA, the Hawks, and Interpol. Are you guys hiring? Please consider your recruitment. Nah? Women have been cheated on. You can give us the training, but we'll train you about a couple of things. Baby girl, did I mention how not alone you are?
Nonetheless, I would follow the thingy go tracker, and then I would catch him red-handed with a woman in my car. Sometimes it will be in his car. Like there was just a lot. Sometimes he could toilet the lip gloss, or you know how women are. They like to mark their territory, especially if they know that there's someone else. So the hands will leave their lip glosses kakoloying basie the pins and. But yeah, no, my ex, yo, I am some flames.
My sister, you are far too beautiful and precious and important for all of that shit. Do you know that? You deserved so much more. And you know what? Please, can we note with compassion the way that she's speaking? It is like the story is stuck in your throat. Like there's a message your heart is trying to get out there, but there is just so much. You don't even know how to paint this picture for other people. No matter how much you speak, you feel like you are being unheard. It's painful. Did I mention how not alone you are?
If I'm ever gonna get into a relationship, a serious relationship, that is gonna require a very patient man, because my anxiety level is there, it's up there. I've been through the worst.
Right now, a relationship with a man is the last thing that you need. Okay? The relationship at this point that is the most important is with someone very, very precious, and that person is yourself. Your heart has got a journey of healing to go on. It needs love right now. It needs patience right now. And most of all, what it needs is respect, because your very soul has been disrespected and disregarded. So, what you require now is to be your own hero, like you've been doing, like the warrior that you are. But this time, have a gentle approach with yourself. Learn to speak to yourself in the way you want the future what to speak to you. Learn to treat yourself and spoil yourself in the way that you would have your future love treat you. And if you're asking what right I have to tell you that, don't mistake me for a second as someone who settled for the same thing I had. They say divorce is a PhD in everything that can go wrong in relationship. They say a lesson will repeat itself until learned. Girl, you've learned a hard lesson. No matter how much you have to learn and continue relearning as you look back on these events, learn the living shit out of it. Make sure that you promise your precious soul that you are never going back there. You're worth fighting for.
I remember, you know how when you get married, like once lobola pateto and usually go the groom side of the family, they would have like a welcoming ceremony to officially and traditionally welcome the bride. The bride again. Hey guys. What happened? Okay. What happened? Okay.
What happened there, beautiful, was a trauma response. You were most likely shaking, most likely your palms were sweating. A fear response, a survival response was happening there, even in your body.
Anyways, so we had to drive to Mpumalanga because Nadibet's passport high. So there we are making our way to his place, Mpumalanga. I mean, I'm thinking, okay, because we're gonna sleep over, we're gonna go to Lesotho Kasan.
So let me just get my facts straight. I believe that you are in Joburg. So that means that you guys had to go pick up his passport in Mpumalanga, which, if I remember correctly, is 2-3 hours away. And then you had to drive to the country of Lesotho, which I'm guessing from Mpumalanga is anywhere between 6 and 10 hours away. And while you were there in Mpumalanga, something interesting happened.
I'm thinking, okay, we're just gonna chill and then obviously get ready for Kausan. Nigga's a bit like he's a little bit all over the place. And as a woman, when somebody cheats, you know, like if there's one thing, every time I ever accused him of cheating, he was doing just that. Nonetheless, he's somehow, but and then he's like, don't you want something to eat? I'm like, I know, I'm sharp. I mean, we bought something on our way here. So now we are at his place, Kompomalang. And then he says, you know what, I want to go buy beer. I'm like, okay, no, you're not going to leave me here.
Get some Mayaliwena, I'm coming with you. So at this point, even though we are preparing to be welcomed for the bridal ceremony, if I understand correctly, something just didn't feel right. So we were not secure enough to let him go and drive around in Pumalanga on his own. Very clearly not leaving me here. So, yeah, sometimes the gut knows before the mind knows, hey? When it's hard to accept, when these conflicting things are happening. On the one hand, oh, a bridal ceremony is happening tomorrow. A thing to do with my wedding is happening, a very important tradition, an ancient tradition. On the other hand, yay, that gut, it was feeling something. You have now been pulled out of alignment by this issue. A kiss for the sound, ne?
Little did I know ukuthi ubafo ushiye passport kwenye intombazane. And then eventually he had to come clean because we were running out of time. And Kosani Maya very early. I think we're going to leave at 4. So now we drove to this girl's place. But obviously at this point he had to confess. So now he has and then we get to the gate. The girlfriend. The girlfriend.
Little did I know that his passport was left with a girl. I think you were speaking Zulu there. That's what I understood from what you were saying. And I'm sure he would have tried to handle it, but because there was a time crunch, you had to leave by 4 o'clock. There was no choice. He had to go. You're refusing to let him go alone. So it was inevitable that you were trying to find out. Like the universe was trying to show you signals. I'm not blaming you there. Yay, you're not alone. I've been there. But on the other hand, there's all this rationalization happening on the other hand. So I can imagine the tension there. No judgment. But yeah. Okay.
So now obviously we get to the gate and then about that intercom situation. And then, hey, yo, when I'm thinking, yes, baby. Yo, I could literally feel, guys, never get fuck. I could, yo, my heart.
How undermining can that be? The shame, the stress. You are sitting next to your fiance at the intercom of her place, and the first thing that comes out of the voice of this girl who has his passport. By the way, what was she doing with his passport? Do I even want to open that can of worms? It's going to stress us all out. You know what? Let bygones be bygones. So, yeah, even my mind is going, where did he go to with this woman? Hey, I'm getting angry on your behalf there. Okay. The stress, the undermine, and even the denial of, is this really happening? Wait a minute. And then he goes and denies it, nah? With "Don't call me baby," if I remember correctly.
Guys, by greatly. Girl was like, hey, baby. And baby was like, hi. Again, now, obviously, kidding. It's like, hello, no, don't call me baby. I'm thinking, yo, this guy thinks. Like, yo, Nikili, not totally whack. Like, Nikili popo, and then he started going off on this girl. And he's like, I'm here to get my passport. Go my passport, yeah.
This is where my vernac is failing me. I have insufficient vernac to understand this, but from what I understand, that when you heard her voice, it started grating at you. And then you said at this point, I knew. And I think what you said, something about a pop. I think you were saying that you felt like a cartoon, like a fool. I'm not sure. But that's what I understood there. But the general message is that you knew. At this moment, you knew. He's trying to fake it. He's talking about, don't call me baby. I just want my passport. Okay, this is as far as I've watched in the video, more or less. Let's see what happens.
And then obviously girl is shocked because I told her but we just thought, no, maybe baby thought I told the passport because obviously I'm assuming the girl knew. But now, because he's a Malay guy, mo jwetsa guy a thola chance a mo jwetsa eish ke tla le khatliso ke tla passport please guys a drama. Oh, ngwanyana then lost it and now they are swearing at each other back and forth. I'm just sitting there thinking, God, what's going on? Okay, that's Gatla number one. Well, that's not even number one, but I'm just saying in this case, in this incident alone, this is the first thing, right? As it relates to the welcoming of the bride thingy. We get there.
So, as I understand it, you had to be an audience member to your own future husband fighting with his girlfriend.
They have words, whatever, and then eventually gets the passport. Katzamai. Obviously, manje gusawa. Nobody's talking to anyone. And now I'm thinking, the fact that I'm being welcomed as a bride traditionally, kasane habon, and yet it was a lot. Anyways, I was like, you know what? It's fine. We are here already. It will be so humiliating if I were to drop everything now and say excited again. Plus, also, I do have to mention, I listen. If there's one thing about this guy, Familia High, they are the best. Like, not even once did I feel like Makoti or anything. If anything, his dad, oh, his dad is an angel. It's like a familiar hike of everyone was so nice, so welcoming, so loving. So I think one of the reasons why I didn't want to leave, or one of the reasons why I kept giving him many chances, was because I felt like, disappointed about you know, let alone my family, but his family too. We already have, I mean, we've been together for so long. So even our group friends,
So, as I understand at this point, you're trying to think of the bigger picture, you're trying to think of everybody else. You're probably sitting there thinking, did this even really happen? Because one of the first things we do when the rug is pulled out from under us is we want to make sure, we want to go back to homeostasis. We want everything to be calm again. And so you start thinking about everybody else, his wonderful family, and the pressure of not disappointing them when so much has been put into this marriage, so much has been invested. It's called the sunk cost fallacy. So I've come this far, and then that hope is a 4-letter word. Maybe he'll change when he's married. You didn't say all of that, but that is how I'm interpreting what you said there.
Anyways, you know that thing about Yezang who welcome her, and then all the ladies will gather about, what do you guys call it, hulaya moto, whatever, something like that. Now it's, I'm just sitting there and they're telling me, okay, now that you're getting married, blah blah blah, this is how you must conduct yourself. I'm just chilling. Obviously, I'm still a bit furious about what happened is all. Kanti's Gatla number 2 is coming. I've been with this guy at this point. We have been together for 4 years, right? Because we got engaged on the 4th year.
So then you cross the border. You as a South African cross the border to go into the country of Lesotho. What I'm picturing is you accepting his culture and accepting his family, the tradition of people guiding you to be a wife. And from just what I'm interpreting from this, I know what it feels like to be sitting there knowing that a man is not being a man while you are being preached at about the quality of woman that you need to be, knowing that you have no malice for the people who are doing that because they're not doing it with malice, but the unfairness of that situation, I can only imagine. You're not alone, girl. I may not come from the same cultures, but the dynamics.
Yeah, we dated for 3 years on the 4th year. Well, I think so. Anyways, I'm sitting there and there's this woman. I still even remember her expression when she was saying this to me. She was like, oh, by the way, I don't think we should continue, holding in the secret. I'm thinking, no, I think she must be, she's confused. No, I know this guy. Oh, and guys, it was not even like, unfortunately, no. She basically just said, by the way, Chum, I'll be doing next. Your husband has a baby. 10, 11. I'm thinking, when am I ever gonna catch a break?
So you're still reeling. You've had so much stress on you. You're still reeling from having watched him have a fight with his girlfriend. Plus, you haven't even had a chance to process that. You've been traveling all the way. You've had the stress of travel. You've got the stress and pressure of a marriage. Now you've just found out, a bomb drop, he's got a child.
I mean, girl, I'm still not turning back. I'm like, listen, my husband this, my husband that. God was a car. Anyways, that whole thing happened. We came back. Obviously, but I'm getting Nike, Mrs. Patience, my middle age, persevere. Storm after storm. We came back. Yeah.
Sounds to me like ride or die culture. This is my husband. I don't think you're a bad person or a fool for doing that. I think that when we are that torn apart and our foundation, the rug has been pulled out from under us, we are looking and we are grappling for some stability, and it's difficult. You didn't have a chance to process. You didn't even have a moment to breathe and to think clearly about this. Girl, can I point out that it's a grief response too? It's a grief response. Denial is one of the 7 stages of grief. This happens when there's death. At this moment, your relationship had already died. But just like when someone dies, we go through a period of denial.
From that point up until 2020, I could say we could run but nonetheless, 2020, okay, so 2019, we went on these couple of friends of ours. So whenever we go out for vacations, we'll, you know, those kind of vibes. I can only snap say once a vacation. That's how bad it was. Like, we didn't even get to the actual place, the destination, because already there was. Long story short, 2020 happened, COVID happened, and I told him, Guti hasn't back. At this point, I'm not even in love with you anymore. I'm just sitting here because you are all I know. I mean, if I leave, we've been together for so long. My life revolves around his type of thing. I don't know if you guys know, but if you've been with someone for so long, even your plans are rooted. Anyways, I was like,
You've been with him for your entire adult life before you even got the key for the 21st birthday, before your brain was fully developed at the age of 25. You didn't have the tools to deal with that. We might be adults on paper when we're 20 something, but we're kids. You know, you'd know nothing else in your adult life. The sunk cost fallacy. I've put in so much already, I might as well carry on. But do you notice how the minute 2020 hit, when your mind had a chance to rest and be calm, you were able to finally process something that you didn't even have the chance. Nobody gave you the dignity of being able to process it clearly. It was the first time.
but I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna give you a chance, and you do what you can with it. But I was like, no, I'm gonna do better. You know how they are. I'm gonna do better. I love you. I don't. My wife. But at that point now, lerato la fela. I mean, I've been through shit. Now I guess I'm in love. Anyways, that COVID thing, it was worse because you can imagine, the restrictions. Like, you're supposed to be home, I think by 9. Ubafu will come back at 2. So ke club effing e butsweng bathong. Ke club effing e butsweng ka COVID e kana. You're not even worried about my health because now you're gallivanting.
You said the love was finished. A man made you feel like maybe your ability to love had come to the end, right? Like airtime runs out. You have insufficient love to complete this call. Please try again later. I know what that feels like. For you to feel like true love. You know, even when you listen to love songs and there's this numbness that comes over you, like, will I ever even have that? I've got to be faithful. I had my marriage vows. I'm a Christian, you know, and the cultural stuff as well. Mm-mm. And then you mentioned that he didn't even care about your health, baby girl, even before COVID. I'm glad COVID happened because it made you think. Even before COVID, he didn't care about any AIDS or HIV or STDs.
Guys, actually, this is not even half of the story. I will tell you about my graduation. Ke thola bafo ana le girlfriend e hae ka kolong yaka. I get upset just thinking about this. Anyways, eventually I packed up and I left. This was now 2021. Yeah.
He didn't respect your love. He didn't respect your faithfulness. He didn't respect your family. He didn't respect your health. And he didn't even respect your graduation by having a girl in the car. My sister, you said that was only scratching the surface. And then you even gave up telling the story because your heart became tired. You were in the middle of the storm. You didn't owe anybody an explanation, but thank you for sharing. You had the strength to fight for yourself because you know that you're worth fighting for. You have been forged in the fire. You are standing strong. Hold your head up, chin up, tits forward. You've got this. The war is over. Now is the time to rebuild your life. I love you.